Good evening, everyone. Merch Hunter Ricky here, and we're talking about Fabricant 100, Chapter 16. And right off the jump, I can't hold my containment. This chapter was great. As usual, I always say that my chapters for a 100 criteria mean that you have to have action in it, but this is going to be the first one to break that mold. I genuinely think this is an exceptional example of world building, so I'm going to go ahead and give Chapter 16 of Fabricant 100 a 100%. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty of this chapter, because honestly, we got a lot to talk about. So first things first, they get back to the Mort safe after a little bit of like a flashback, if you will, a bit of a lore dump, where they talk about how back in the day, electricity was proven as the source of life via a doctor bringing a frog back to life. Maybe we can assume this was the same doctor that created the Fabricants. We don't know that, but safe bet, right? And if not, it doesn't really damage the story anyways. Now, we get back to the mansion of Mort safe, and Ashibi, Hugo, and Fabricant 100 are talking to the leader and explaining to her how all of the previous situation went down with the super healing eye Fabricant and all that good stuff. She asks Ashibi a pretty important question, which is, do you think that Fabricant 100 will be up to the task of taking down the rest of these Fabricants now, knowing that they are kind of on the same level of strength as her, plus carrying an extra ability depending on what flesh they've consumed? To this, Ashibi answers that he would like an ability of his own to go ahead and help Fabricant 100. And he even explains how they couldn't have beat the eye Fabricant without the help of Hugo, who used his superhuman speed to do so. Now, she tells Hugo to take him down into this chamber with like a cat locked door, and like they stick a key into like the cat mouth. It's kind of funny. I don't know. I just had to bring that up. But they have the spark of Fabricant 99. So, two things here. One, I was wrong about saying that Fabricant 98 and 99 will be the villains, of the final villains of the series. Oh well, I can gladly take an L because this is an amazing breakthrough, right? One, the other thing we got to talk, or two, the other thing we got to talk about is that the Fabricant counter goes up to 26. Woo. And if not, 27. I'll double check to make sure, okay? Now, they have the entire intact core, that's a mouthful, intact core of Fabricant 99. This is a big deal because this is actually revealed to be the source of the powers of the Mort safe, what are we going to call them? The Mort safe humans, whatever. And this is how they get their power. They touch the spark, and the electricity contained within the spark unlocks the latent abilities inside the regular human body. So right away, I just want to say the humans and the Fabricants are a lot more similar than we've been thinking them, just like an emotional connection. Now we're seeing their structural integrity also kind of, is similar too. Now, it can be also insinuated that Fabricants are, in fact, robots, or just, an automaton, to say the least, which is still a robot, I guess, right? And I kind of like that a lot now, because they're robots with flesh, like androids almost, and it's just freaky because now we don't know where the line is drawn at all, other than the core being their electrical power source, And what I like about this a lot is that it also gives a lot of credence to the Fabricants wanting to yearn to be a human, other than just the doctor being like, you're not perfect, be the perfect human. Now we know that it's because they're so similar to each other. We got humans using the core of a Fabricant to unlock their powers, and we got Fabricants with a core taking human flesh to unlock their powers further. But really, they're just two sides of the same coin, and I love that. That is so good. Next, we got to talk about how essentially Ashibi got the most broken power of them all. So he's probably the first, actually, yeah, because he's the last member of the Yao family. So he is the first Yao family member to unlock their core power, which is ridiculous supernatural healing. Hugo cuts off his finger and it just sews itself back on with blood stitches, and like the blood itself pulls it back onto his hand. It's crazy. Fabricant gets a little upset, but when she sees his power, it kind of doesn't matter anymore. And then really quick at the end of the chapter, we get some further members of Mort safe revealed. We see a bunch of them training out in the courtyard, and one of them who is unnamed currently, he loves to do that, huh? But then he drops the name bomb of two of them, Min Min and I think Ayako or Akayao. I think they're both girls, or at least Min Min for sure is a girl. And she was wielding, I think, nunchucks. And then Akayao or Ayakao was wielding a sword. And we'll get back to them. I mean, I really got to harp on this power from Ashibi, right? Like, he's every chapter now, it seems like he's just getting one step closer to not needing Fabricant 100 as his ally. So hopefully, and I know a lot of other people have said this too, that Ashibi will get the will to live and he will rescind his deal with Fabricant 100. Also, I got a shout out to one of my YouTube users. I think it was Minsel. I'll double check, and for sure I'll just screenshot your comment. Last chapter I was talking about how I didn't like it because I didn't like the Fabricant's story. I think is Fabricant number 33. I didn't like his backstory, right? However, the YouTuber in question, he brought the comment up and explained to me that, hey, look, this is actually showing that the Fabricant was having trouble not wanting to become more human, not feeling, he was feeling sympathy, he was feeling bad for his actions, and he was starting to feel love for the children. And that's a really good point, because like it just brings it back to what this chapter is showing too, that Fabricants and humans are just two sides of the same coin. And they're so similar to each other, and the Fabricants are just, fake humans, automatons powered up by their electro core, and vice versa. The humans are powered by the electric core that unlocks their potential, like Guru unlocking Krillin's potential on Planet Namek. Fantastic. Like I said, I really like this world building. So now I guess we're about to see Ashibi get chopped up over and over again and keep using his powers, right? Because he's going to have to find a way to use this power constructively. Because if he can't take the pain, or if he just can't handle actually fighting, he's not, like, you'd just be a big regeneration meat sack. You know what I mean? He's just going to be a shield, and he might even hold Hugo and Fabricant 100 back. I'm assuming he's going to keep working with Hugo. At least I hope so. I like Hugo a lot. I waited for his name to be dropped. I like his power. He looks like Gojo. Make him Ashibi's partner, please. And if not, please, and I mean please, make Min Min and Akayao, or whatever the other one's name is, please make them more likable, because we've already been going so far in the series, and I know it's only 16 chapters in, but we've already had quite an established time of just Ashibi and Fabricant 100's dynamic, and Luca, and then the leader, and then Hugo added into the mix, and that's fine. And I know it's at this point it's about time we had more people introduced that matter, so I get it. I just don't want Min Min and Ayakao introduced just to have them die in chapter 17, 18, or 19. You know what I mean? Like, let's make sure that these people that are going to be introduced actually matter and actually bring some weight to the story, because that's where I was liking a lot with Fabricant 100, is that we were just getting, and I know a lot of people like to call it villain of the week, but like this is the whole premise of the series, is finding these Fabricants, taking them down, If we get more than 100 Fabricants, I can feel that kind of taking away from the series, but not really, since they don't really carry names or extreme weight. They do carry weight, and they each get their own chapter and story, and that's what we're liking. It's a little bit Demon Slayer-y, but it's good Demon Slayer-y. I started reading Demon Slayer, and I might do a series on how I feel about that, so let me know if you want to see that too. But anyways, one thing to bring up: if the Mort Safe has already beaten Fabricant 99, how many other Fabricants have they beaten, and will we find that out soon? Because I want my Fabric counter, I want it accurate, But honestly, it's a great chapter, great stuff. I really like this story. I don't really see too many things damaging it, taking away from the importance of the story. I genuinely think this is a very fun, fast-paced story. We're at chapter 16, and we're getting what One Piece would take a long time to drop, right? Or we're getting what Dragon Ball Z would have people grunting and like moaning over, like and then like 2 episodes later they finally talk about it, right? But what I'm really enjoying about this is that the world seems so small, yet each little drop of complexity makes it that much bigger, wider, and more wholesome. But it's still a rather small, contained world. I feel like they're in like the equivalent of their world's Europe. We might find out that it actually is Europe, but you get me, right? And I just enjoy that a lot. I enjoy that there's not too many characters. So, like, we got these 2 new people of the Mort Safe being introduced, and, like, I don't want to harp on this too much, but like I said, like, I hope that they're very relevant. I hope they're not just, like, training partners and, like, we never see them again, because then just don't name them, right? You didn't name Hugo for so long, and I wanted that, and then you're just going to name drop these 2. They better be important, damn it. But anyways, that's a very small nitpick, you know what I mean? I really like this series. I hope you do too. If you see this video and you got something to say, go ahead and say it. Let's talk about this. Let's keep the discourse open. I don't mind featuring you in the next chapter review. This is very fun for me, and I really like this little community we're slowly starting to build up. So if you don't mind giving me a like, maybe subscribing if you felt the video, and go ahead and throw a comment down there. I appreciate it. Have a good night, everybody.